Hey everybody. So today I want to talk about something that happened a while back to me, but it was pretty interesting because um, I was chatting with a friend who had a couple of little girls, and I don't know how we got around to it, but I kind of shared with them a strategy that I'd used, and I kind of told them about what I did. I thought it was, frankly, it's a little bit weird, a little bit off of middle, kind of. There's some unique things about me I think that are a little off. Let me just put it that way. And so as I was discussing this with him, he was kind of a safe person, right? I didn't think he'd be too critical of my cuckoo ideas. And so I shared with him a strategy I'd put together that had really made a big difference for me and how really I think my kids viewed me and how my wife viewed me and frankly, how I viewed me. And so I told him about the strategy, really thinking nothing of it, just kind of shared the story of kind of how it had changed some of the things in our relationship with my wife and our family. And about a week later, he came back to me and he said, Kyle, I can't believe how well this strategy is working for me and my family. And I was kind of surprised, frankly, that he had actually implemented it. And I was kind of surprised that he would, well, frankly, just take it seriously. And so I started asking him some questions about it, and we kind of had some more discussions. But as we talked about those discussions, he said, Kyle, you really need to share this with other dads, with other husbands, because it's pretty powerful and it's really pretty simple. So I want to share it with you today, and it's called the hop up and hustle strategy. And I'll tell you kind of how I came across this. So it's been a long, long time ago. I'd say more than 10 years ago. I came home from work one day, and it was a tough day at the job, and there was a basketball game on, and I was kind of excited, and I told my wife, hey, listen, I'd really like to watch this game. It's my favorite team. And she said, no problem. I'll keep the kids out of your hair, right? Um, she basically gave me permission to kind of sit down and just watch this game and be kind of left alone and really kind of relax and enjoy it. Well, I'm telling you, within 15 minutes of the game starting, my number two son, who was pretty young at the time, came running in the room. He said, hey, Dad, I can't find my other shoe. Can you help me find my shoe? And my wife was off on the other side of the house, and so she really didn't hear the situation, and I could feel myself getting frustrated, Really? I mean, it's not very often I sit down and watch a game. I mean, it's next to never. And the one time I just want to sit down and watch a game, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I kind of got frustrated. I said, don't you have two shoes? Yeah. He said, yeah. I said, well, why would they not be together? And I started getting frustrated, and I kind of watched, and I recognized his body language as he walked away. Kind of his head was down, and he walked away kind of saddened. And at that moment, I think it kind of hit me that I started to really question how I had managed that situation, and I started to question kind of my priorities, and really ask myself, what's more important, a basketball game or my son? And as that question was pretty easy for me to answer. My son is more important, no matter what's going on. And so I hopped up and I hustled back there and I said, let me help you find your shoe. And you could see his face light up, and it made a huge difference for him. And it didn't take long for us to find it, but in his eyes, and I could see it in his eyes, that he went from kind of being discouraged and saddened to really just brightened. And I remember when we found his shoe, he gave me a big old hug, and he said, thanks so much, Daddy. He gave me a big hug, and I went back and sat down to watch the basketball game, and I got to thinking about that, how, if we really determine what our top priorities are in life, they're generally our family, right? Our wives and our kids. And why would anything be more important than that, right? Why would our own comfort be more important than our kids and our wife? Why would our entertainment be more important? Why would any of it be more important? And so I really kind of started developing this philosophy called hop up and hustle. And basically what that means is anytime anyone needs me or even asks me for help, I'm just going to hop up and hustle. If it's my kids or my wife, I'm just going to hop up no matter what I'm doing, no matter how important it is to me. Nothing's more important than my wife and kids, and it shouldn't be to me. And so I kind of took that approach, and I'll never forget, probably a week later, after I started doing this, my wife she's about to leave to go to the grocery store, and she says, hey, Kyle, could you empty the dishwasher while I'm gone, so that when I get back, I can just jump right into making dinner or whatever it was she was doing. I can't remember the details of that, but I remember getting frustrated initially and thinking, really, come on. I think I was reading at the time. I was enjoying just a good book, and she interrupts me to ask me to do that, and she just kind of jets on out. And I thought, hop up and hustle, right? And so I hopped up and I went and did the dishes, emptied the dishwasher, and actually reloaded it. And I actually found a few other things that I think that she would have liked me to have done without asking, and I did those. And she came back probably half an hour to an hour later, and just came in and started looking around and came right over. I went back to my library, started reading again. I say library. That's kind of braggadocious. It was just a room with a couple of books in it. I wouldn't say I have a library. I got a bunch of kids. I don't have a library. But she came over and she just kind of wrapped her arms around me. She said, "Thank you so much." She said, "You didn't just do the dishes. You did a couple other things, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, that's the kind of man you married." And I kind of got a kick out of it. But it was really pretty interesting that this new hop up and hustle attitude just became my default. If somebody interrupted me at the house, if it was a kid or my wife or anybody, and I was doing something that I thought was important, I immediately say, you know what? Nothing's more important to them. I would hop up and I would hustle. If my wife is, if I'm doing something, my wife says, "Hey, Kyle, could you do this for me?" I'd hop up and hustle, right? If my kids came in the living room and I was watching TV and they said, "Hey, Dad, can you go out and throw a frisbee with me?" I'd hop up and I'd hustle, right? And I'd go throw the frisbee. Excuse me. And it was really interesting to watch this process, because I became the man that put them first, that put my wife and kids first. And it really started to bleed into other areas of my life, whether that be at work, whether that be at church, whether that be when I was with friends. I just became that guy that raised his hand and said, "I'm the guy that can help you." And it really, the dramatic thing for me was how much it changed me. Right? I know I was serving my wife and my kids and other people, but I just felt better. I felt good about the fact that no matter what I was doing, I just put priorities in the right place. And the interesting thing, and I'll just tell you, one of the triggers for me was that I would get frustrated when I would get asked to do these things. And so anytime I got frustrated or I would feel frustration bubbling up, I would immediately say, "Okay, hop up and hustle," right? And so that frustration, as I felt it, became that trigger for me to hop up and hustle. So, after telling my friend Dustin about this, I guess I just said his name. I didn't mean to do that. But after telling him about this and him going home and doing it and come back and just gushing about the results he had, I thought I wanted to share it with you. And I want to challenge you as a father and as a husband and as a friend to adopt this just for a week. No matter who asks you something, get your priorities straight and put yourself last. And if your wife says, "Hey, can you do this for me?" hop up and do it right then, right? No matter what you're doing. And if your kids say, "Hey, Dad, can you help me find one of my tennis shoes?" hop up and do it, right? Or if your daughter says, "Can you go outside and play in the garden with me?" or whatever it is that your kids or your wife enjoys doing or wants your help with, hop up and hustle. Go do it immediately. And watch a couple things. Pay attention to a couple things. First of all, pay attention to how it makes them feel. You're going to see a light in their eyes that you may not have seen before. When you jump right up and you help, only being asked once and really go overboard, do more than you're asked to do, it's going to make a big difference in the way they feel about you. And also pay attention to the way you feel. Right? Not only are you going to feel better about your service and helping the others, you're going to enjoy it more. You're going to be more motivated to do that. And you're going to feel like the greatest dad in the world. You're going to feel like a superhero, right? And not that guy that your wife says, "Can you do this for me?" and you say, "I'll get to it later," and you never get to it, right? Because that happens to us all. So hopefully that's helpful. Have a great day. I challenge you this week or for the next few days, do it for a week. Hop up and hustle. Watch and see what happens. You'll see a dramatic change in your family. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.